Alrighty, boys and girls, here we are. We're going to have a two for today. Posted the video for the Bluesman Vintage Custom 5-string prototype. Very cool, you need to check it out. Alright, next on the roster for today, what you see here, we have our nice little box. Yes, it's a hand. We have our nice little box amidst all these cool pedals. Let's talk about this box. This box is called the Oscartone. It's made by a bass player here in Nashville, in the Nashville area. His name is Justin Oscar Carey. And this little box is designed to do mid changes. So the way that this is explained is this is a totally passive box. What you see going in and out are two cords. You see the cord coming in and out going to the amp. What I've done is I've taken this off the board so that none of the other pedals have anything to do with this at this point. This is going straight into a Trace Elliott that everything is flat. So what we're going to do is we're going to listen to this pedal with two different basses. We're going to start with a fretted P bass. I'm going to use my pink Bluesman Vintage bass, and then I will use a pink fretless Bluesman Vintage bass just to kind of give you some ideas of what this does. Okay, so as you can see here on the tone knob, there are 5 settings. Actually, there are 6, because if you turn the big knob all the way off, what it does is it gives you just the basic sound of the guitar. So if I just turn up the bass as it is, okay, so this is what this bass sounds like by itself. So what we're going to do is this will adjust 5 different mid frequencies, and then this knob also is a tone knob, kind of like a tone knob on your bass. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn that all the way down for now so that you can hear exactly what the mids sound like. Okay, so again, we're going to go just from 1 up. So we start on number 1, and again, here's the bass. Okay, so that's the bass by itself with number 1. Now, if I change this up to number 2, and then we'll go to number 3. So again, you'll see the mids are changing each time we do this. Okay, again, let's go to 4, and I'll tell you what these settings do after here. Okay, and last but not least, number 5. Okay, so as you can see, as we go from 1 to 5, you'll notice that the changes are subtle. The reason why I left this volume, or excuse me, this tone turned down is because what this does is if I, again, let's go back to number 1 here. I'm going to just turn this up and you can hear the difference automatically. So it brings out the natural tone just as you would if you were using a tone control on your guitar. Okay, so let's set this about 50%, and we'll just kind of just do some things here. So number 1 here should be a kind of a mid-cutting tone. Should give it a little less, as we just heard. Okay, again, if I mess with the tone knob, okay. Number 2 actually is kind of a, he calls it a Jocko-esque kind of tone, kind of the burp and the bottom is what he says. Okay. Number 3 here, once again, with this, again, we're using it at about 25%. So this is more like the setting that would take out some of the sparkle and some of that transparent sound that comes when you have new strings. Setting number 4, once again, is a standard kind of P-bass or Fender style tone roll-off. So again, I have it set here at 25%. This is where you get kind of that Motown, or if you're using a pick. Now mind you, I don't use a pick, so I'll use my fingernails, but you can get the idea. So it gives you kind of a different tone. If I was using flat wounds, it would probably jump out and you would think I was playing a Motown vibe. Okay, number 5 here, yet again, this is where we start doing the dub sound. So we get that kind of low mid thing going, and of course you can do that, or some of those old riffs like you've heard. Okay, so you get that kind of rumbling, fat dub, even dubstep. Sometimes dubstep gets that thrown in there. Okay, so again, now let's talk about one other thing this pedal has, and then we're going to switch basses and kind of go through it again with a fretless. So one of the recommendations that was made was to use this on number 3, which again is just as if you're rolling off for new strings. And then this has a push-pull setting. Okay, so if I pull this, make sure I don't drop the pedal, that would be a plus. If I pull this, and what this does is this is kind of a bypass for the ultra high frequencies. So you still get the roll-offs in the upper mids and the lower treble range. So it's kind of like a notch filter. It's really cool when you use it for this. So what it does is when you use it in a slap contour, you can get that nice punchy, snappy kind of tone out of your bass, but you're not getting all the extra noise because it is pulled in and kind of notched where you need to be. All right, again, we're going to switch basses here, and then we'll come back with fretless momentarily. All right, so here is the fretless counterpart to the fretted bass that I was using earlier. Again, this is a Bluesman Vintage Custom that was made for me. It has a mudbucker, a precision pickup, and a J pickup. For this test, we're going to use just the P-bass pickup so that we have kind of a similar tone with the other bass. Okay, so once again, we're starting in the 0 position on the box here, which means that the box is not engaged. So the bass itself sounds like that. Okay, so if we go on here, number 1, again, I'm leaving the tone knob all the way down for now, and it is not engaged with the push-pull. So once again, we're going to try to do some of that mid-cutting, the nasally sound we're going to try to get rid of. Okay, so that's what we have here. Setting number 2, kind of have the Jocko thing going. So again, I'm not using the jazz bass pickup now. We're just going to go ahead and use the P. Okay. Setting number 3 is we're going to now, again, remember, this is a setting where if we were using new strings, it would roll off some of that high indie kind of transparent sound that new strings have. Setting number 4, standard passive bass tone control. And last but not least, for sure, the dub tone. Alright, so let's go back to ground zero here. We're going to go all the way back to number 1. This time what we're going to do is we're going to turn the tone knob about 50% up. Again, I haven't pulled it yet. Okay, again, up to number 2 we go. We're going Jocko style. Enough of that. Number 3, standard tone control. Four, again, basic Motown kind of thwing. And of course 5. Alright, so let's go back now, all the way back here to number 1. Gotta watch that 0 there. I'm gonna go ahead and pull the little surprise here. Okay, so again, this is gonna be kind of a notch filter of sorts. So let's see what it does as we go through each setting. I won't talk through these, we'll just play them and adjust them and see what happens. And there you have it. So what you see here is the differences between the fretted and the fretless basses. This little cool box you can find at www.oscartone.com. If you have questions, feel free to message me here, or you can talk with Justin specifically, since he is the builder of this box. It works only on passive basses, remember that. So if it goes into an active circuit, it will make no difference. That's the cool part. It's just passive only. So bust out your Fenders, bust out your other basses that are passive, rock this thing. Until next time, as I always say, yeah, you know what I always say. Forget the computer. Go play bass. Do something. Rock the world. It's on you. Until next time.